Hello everyone, and welcome back to another GIS lecture video. And in this GIS lecture video, I want to talk about the idea of arrangement. So arrangement is probably the one that I use the least in terms of visual elements. Generally speaking, to me, it just feels less effective than, say, spacing or shape, because it's kind of a combination of both of them, in my personal opinion. So I tend to not use this one as much, but it is out there, and I think it's a good idea to sort of get a feel for it. So what arrangement does is arrangement changes the, and I'm going to use the word in the definition, changes the arrangement of the elements that make up the symbol. Right? And so let's go ahead and look at a couple of examples, and then I'll talk you through when it's most useful. So let's say that we have points. I'm gonna make the points into circles so that we can really kind of see it. Right? And let's say inside of the circle we have 3 dark regions, which I'm going to leave as black, and 2 white lines. So 1 dark region, white line, 2 dark regions, or dark region 2, white line, 3rd dark region. Right? What we can do is we can change the arrangement. So we could say, instead of having, we could have 1 white line, 1 white line, and we'd have all 3 dark symbols in the middle. Or we could have white line, all 3 dark symbols underneath. All right, so we haven't changed much the sort of elements, right? There are 3 spaces of black and 2 white lines. We've just simply changed how they're ordered. Maybe that's a better word. Ordered. Right? So black, white versus white, black, white versus white, black, black. Right? That is arrangement. So we haven't added anything, we've just changed the order. So for lines, for example, right, we might have a line that's made up of dash, dot, dash, dot, dash, right? Instead, we might do something like dot, dash, 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 dot, or dash, dash, dot, dot, dash. Right? So these are the same number of elements, they're just arranged in a different order. Now for polygons, I think polygons are a little bit more confusing in terms of arrangement because it looks very similar to spacing. But right, we might have something like 1, 2, right? And so instead we could do 1, 2, or we could do something like 1, 2. Right, so we've kept the same number of elements, we've just changed the order in which they're being presented. Now, here's the issue that I run into with arrangement. Generally speaking, the idea behind it is that you are not implying any sort of rank or order. So this is generally speaking recommended. Let's see if I can get that to right. Recommended for nominal data, right? Because ideally here we are not changing the order, or sorry, we're not implying any sort of order or ranking. We're just changing the arrangement of the elements. Now, here is the part where I tend to have an issue with this. Changes in the arrangement, in my personal opinion, imply changes in density distribution. And we'll talk a lot more about this idea of density distribution later. But basically what we do is we are implying that, hey, more of the phenomenon is occurring up here than down here inside of the polygon, as opposed to this one where everything is sort of even, right? So when we change the arrangement of the elements, when we cluster pieces of when we cluster certain elements together relative to open space, right, we can sometimes imply this idea of changes in density distribution. So hopefully this makes sense, this idea that we can keep more or less the same elements, but just simply reorder them to imply nominal data, right? That this is different than this, but not necessarily better or worse. So if we scroll up to our list that we have going here, right, the last qualitative visual variable for nominal is going to be arrangement. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. And as always, if you have any questions, please reach out. Thank you.